Hey friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku. You can probably hear that background noise that I can do nothing about because um, Otaku Sun is out there with one of his friends studying. hmm it's the loudest studying I've ever heard, but no, it's his house too. So they get to they're taking a break from they're doing differential equations, which as an English major that just sounds horrifying. So they did need a break, but they are out there just living their best lives. I'm glad that the young people are comfortable coming to our house and relaxing and studying and whatnot. It's actually a blessing. So I've made a mistake. I've made a big mistake. Um, and I've got to fix it. So a couple of things I'm going to do today. I'm going to put the last coat on these guys. I've been building, let me get a light down here, you can see better. I've been building my novitiates, and they are built. And I'm going to slap chop them because I think that the way these models look, the slap chop technique would really do well for them. But I need to put the last white on. I've been doing it with ink, and I also have my command squad that I built, and they are ready almost as well. I also got to put the white on them. If you've never done slap chop, it's basically building up your shadows underneath, and then you use like contrast paints or speed paints, which are very thin down paints that then the brightest of the color shows up on the white, and then the darkest portion of the color it seeps into the recesses. So like your shadows are basically automatic. That's the best way I can explain it. Like, where's one where it looks really good? I mean, they all actually look pretty good. I need to fix her little lip. Like, this one looks really good. So, as you can see, like, she looks like almost like a little statue. But you can see, like, underneath there's black, but that's from first she's based, well, primed in black. And I did prime in Monument. Pro Acryl tends to be the primer that I use the most. I sometimes prime in ink as well, but always acrylics. And then so after priming, that's paint under my nails. Just it's part of it. Get over it. But then after that, I started dry brushing different mixtures of ink. So starting like with a dull gray that was almost black, then bring it up and bring it up, bring it up a little bit for the white, and the last layer is white. So that when you go in and put on colors with the contrast paints, where the top layer is the brightest, that color paint will show up the brightest, and where it's the darkest, it will be the natural shadow of that. So your gradients are done a little bit easier. And I did this with my Burrows and Badgers models, and it looked really good. And just looking at the way these sculpts are, I think it will look really good on those. Um, and I even did the ink slap chop on these as well. So I'm excited. I wish it wasn't called slap chop. We're gonna call it speed painting. But I'm excited. I'm gonna paint these on Work in Progress Wednesday this week and see how they go. But I'm gonna do that. But I also, oh my god. So I did a short last week that I needed to repaint um, some Terminators, my Tartaros Terminators, which I'm still repainting them. But here's the thing about putting things in an alcohol bath to soak. You can't have used super glue. Alcohol will eat through super glue. I know you're like, wait, but you use plastic glue. I think I ran out of plastic glue when I built these because it was over a year ago that I built them and painted them. And I've always been kicking myself that I went back and did that dry brush over the black. They were so black and gorgeous, and then I just screwed it up. I don't know why I did that. But I left them in the soak as one does, and then I went to pull them out, and I didn't realize that the glue had dissolved, and I watched pieces of my Tartarus Terminators go down the sink. Yeah. Um, yeah, intake of breath. Luckily, um, I hadn't gotten rid of the box of sprues, and my husband pulled it off the shelf. So the parts that got washed away, I actually have more of. So I just washed a set, and I saved every piece except for one that got washed down the drain. So I need to rebuild these, let them dry, and then prime them. And when I say rebuild, like look, I have one that's okay, one little guy. I'm gonna base these in ink, and he still has his rocks at least. That's one. Set him here. Um, Actually, I'll set him here. But Oh my God. I can't believe I did that. These were resin and I stripped them as well and they're fine. Um, I screwed up so bad. I didn't realize I'd use super glue. I don't, if you're someone like me who sometimes will repaint models, under no circumstances put your plastic models together with super glue. Don't do it. And you learn, we live, we learn, we grow. It's a lesson learned at this point. It's my unicorn poop, it's my brush soap. I just have to call it a lesson learned now. But oh my God, when I tell you, like, because I didn't realize it when I started washing them that they were gonna fall apart because it never happened, and then it did. My husband was ready to like give me. He has a set of cataphractii Terminators, and he was gonna give them to us. Like, I don't need cataphractii Terminators. I have cataphractii. I actually didn't cry, but I was just more in shock. But luckily, the parts that I had issues with were claws and some of the guns and arms, and I have that. So I'm going to build what I've got. The other ones I washed off today are drying. I'm going to let them completely dry overnight before I start building them again. But I need to reprime these guys. I need to rebuild these guys, and these guys need a dry brushing. So let's start with who's together the most. So one guy, he's completely together. He's off to the side. So now there's this dude here. Um, so I had claws, and I have 5 guys with claws and then 5 with weapons, which I might end up with more claws now depending on what I've got left over. So here's a torso. Luckily, none of their heads washed away, but I do have more heads. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna have to put them back on. So let me separate out what I've got here. Like some of them, even their basing materials washed away. Like it's just a foot. I know. So let me separate these on the tray real quick, and then I'll yeah, see what's what. So torso, 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 torso. Oh, this is so sad. The pauldron pieces washing away really that made me very sad. Like really sad. I was like, no, as I saw them washing away. Luckily, I've got one that's a couple that are still together. I've got 1, 2, 3 that stayed together. So I can look at them to see um what things are supposed to look like. Unfortunately, I don't have the booklet anymore. But I should have plenty of shoulder pieces. So shoulders for this guy. Um, so this is a left arm and a right arm. And I do know if they're double clawed, they don't have a hand and a weapon. So like this is some kind of bolter or flamer. And then so these would go together for sure. So those go with this guy. And then we've got the claws actually go on a hand. So here's his wrist, and then this would go here. So I've got to glue those together. So I need right and left claws. So that's good stuff like that that I am very well aware of. Because when I did build my cataphractii Terminators, I made a big mistake on a couple of them. I when you start building these kinds of model sets from G-Dubs, I'm only talking about G-Dubs. You got to be careful looking at the weapons because a lot of people play what's called WYSIWYG, which it means what you see is what you get. Which the first time somebody said that to me, I was like, "Gesundheit." I didn't know what WYSIWYG meant. Um, as somebody who teaches adults professionally for a living, do not define acronyms with acronyms. Don't assume that people, because they are in your space, know what you meant. The first time I played a game, it was like 2.5 years ago, and somebody said, "My figures are WYSIWYG." And I was like, is that a model type? I didn't know, I'd never heard that before. And I just looked at them. I was like, and what does that mean? He said, oh, what you see is what you get. And I was like, oh, okay, WYSIWYG. Got so like stuff like that, just explain. But a lot of people play WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, meaning that when you look at the model, the weapons that you see on the figure, that's what they have. No making up like, oh, they have a flamer this. Oh, they can use this kind of bomb. Like, nope, it's not on, you can't play it. Some people care, some people don't. It depends on who you're gaming with that day, on how much they're going to care. And on one of my cataphractii Terminators, I accidentally put one hand with a claw and one hand with a flamer. No, and then one was a claw and one was a fist. Because when I was first building, I didn't realize that the builds, the 1, 2, and 3 in the booklets, they were showing you the versions you could have. And I thought it just meant I could pick any combination. I'm not, those actually turned out looking really nice. I will not be going back to repaint them. They actually, that was back when I was so obsessive about painting that I could hardly get through anything. So here's two claws. I'll put these with this guy. Um, so now I do know they either have claws or other weapons, not both. So, making sure you have a right and a left, right and a left, right and a left. So now I have to see what I'm missing. Luckily, none of their heads fell off. So what I'm going to do first actually is glue their torsos on. I'm going to glue on what I've got here, and then that'll let me know what I need to clip off. So let me get my glue box. My new airbrush. I'm so excited about it. Here it is. Glue. Y'all, when I tell you that minutes came off the end of my life, when I saw pieces falling off, this is why we don't throw our sprues away. Mostly because my husband kit bashes. That's the big reason I don't throw sprues away. He's a big kit basher. I think this is the one. So, with his orcs, he takes stuff and, afterwards he'll take pieces from my figures and do other stuff with his figures, because that's how orcs get their stuff. They, in war, they basically are the kit bashers. If you want to kit bash, like, orcs are for you. But he hadn't gotten to this stuff yet. He has, he's kind of a magpie when it comes to doing projects. Like, I finish my projects. Like, right now, I'm laying out a set of projects that I'm painting, and that's going to be it until I'm done with them. Then I'll do another set. He'll start a project and then be like, ooh, this, and go do that. I might have to do a little work to get this to come out. So sometimes with these metal tips, they dry up. There is a way to fix that. Fire, heat up the glue. Don't do this at home, children. Supervision only. Is it locked? Yes, it's locked. Ooh, we don't need it that high. Let's turn it down. So you don't want to hold it on there, you'll melt it, but I am literally just heating the glue up in here so that I can use it. Now we are going to put it back on lock. Okay, look, I know Dollar General has like destroyed the South, but they're everywhere. We joke about it. Yep, now it's flowing. But I gotta say, anytime I want a lighter, I go to the Dollar General because somehow they have the hookup on cool lighters. Don't know why, but they do. That's where I got that one. And I prefer a butane lighter. I don't smoke. It's for camping and stuff. Let's see here. I did some yard work. I was chopping stumps so I could glide them. And if you've ever chopped stump roots by hand, you know that it's the worst. And now my hands hurt. Ooh, there's open super glue over there. I'm going to swap the hard super glue for husband's open easy super glue. Hey, this is the price you pay if you have a wife that hobbies. There we go. So, super gluing him to his base, but the figures themselves plastic gluing. So getting it right this time. So there's his foot, there's his knee. Getting him back in there. Okay. So torso. So this is, I'm going to glue his upper bit together with his lower bit. I'm actually going to use a hefty amount of glue here and let this sit and reform. Plastic glue is really interesting because it's not an adhesive the way you think, like using Elmer's glue to put two pieces of paper together. What plastic glue is actually doing is it's dissolving the plastic on a layer, and then it reforms to itself. So it's actually like basically sucking the plastic into itself. Another torso. So the plastic melts a little bit, and then as it dries, that melted plastic reforms a new connection, and it happens relatively quickly. There we go. It's the little things. while I let those torsos dry, I will do something else. And this is the other thing. I always have my projects planned in a way that I can do multiple things at once. So I'm not, like just sitting around doing nothing when I've got hobby time. I'm making a point to, sounds like they're studying again now. Making a point to find more time for my hobbying. I am so like chore obsessive that I will, and it's important, keep your house clean, all that kind of stuff. But it's also important to find time for things that you love to do. And sometimes I'll get so obsessed with doing chores and keeping things straight or whatnot that I don't make time for the stuff that's fun. And I have some SEA stuff I want to do and whatnot. So she's going to revamp her hobbying and house chore schedule so she can do more of the stuff she loves. So I'm going to let that dry before I put the arms on. After I put the arms on, I'll know what I need to clip off to for pauldrons and stuff. So we're going to let that dry. And now we're going to add the next layer of ink to these other figures. So I've really enjoyed learning to use inks. I'm going to put this back. So the inks are not paint. I don't know the scientific definition of ink. But with the inks, they are so much thinner than paint, which I've tried to do slap chopping before and was not super successful. And it was because my paint was not thin enough. Um, and so I thought, well, if I couldn't get the slap chop thin enough with the paint, what if I tried it with ink? Because I had painted figures with ink before, and ink is runny. Depending what kind of ink you're using, the adhesion is a little bit different. Um, but I decided to be patient with the slap chop buildup. I'm just dropping some white ink because I'm using straight white now. On this palette, I have a palette. This isn't just on the table, although the table's covered in paint too. It's a plastic folding table we use. Okay, look, don't paint on stuff that you're married to, okay, because it's gonna be a mess. Um, but I was like, well, the last time I did a slap chop, which were my Blood Bowl gnomes, like I was losing detail. And I was like, I couldn't, like the whole reason I was even painting those is one, they're gnomes and gnomes are cute. And, Mr. Otaku plays the Blood Bowl. So I was like, I gotta play one of his games. He 30Ks for me. But I was like, oh, the slap chop would be great on those. When I did it on the Burrows and Badgers, those were metal figures and the features were very strong on those. And the plastic figures, it's not that they didn't have strong features, but everything's kind of stamped a little shallower. So as you build up those layers of paint, like it was just filling things in. And I wasn't getting the look I wanted. So this time around, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try the ink for my slap chop. So there she is, pre-white. So this is the last layer for this slap chop before I start adding color. And I'm just getting it on the dry brush, pure white. So now we're going for the highest highlights. Let's see if I can do this. The highest of highlights, pure white. You usually end with, I think, bold titanium white, depending on how bright you want your colors to get. But this is the equivalent. I haven't decided I'm going to put bold titanium white on yet, but it's just following where the shadows would go, or in this case, not go. Wherever the brush doesn't touch naturally, that's going to be in shadow relief. It's such a cool effect. There's so many ways to achieve painted looks. So many ways. So now, let's look at this novitiate. There she is. Now, aiming my other light at her so you can see her really well. So there's this gal. Here is one that is a shade lighter. It's subtle, but yeah. So she's got all the white on her. Let me turn her around. She has the highest bright I'm going to put on there. And this one does it. See the difference? Well, it's just a tinge darker. So when I put the color on, it's going to show up really well on those high points. And then the recesses will be well shadowed in the right color. One thing I also learned in the Artist Opus class was not to put too much pigment on these dry brushes. We tend to over pigment them. And a drop of water will actually, on most dry brushes, reactivate the paint. So you didn't even have to like dip more paint. So just little things. Like I could even see my technique in doing this dry brush completely different than anything I was doing a year ago. So I'm super, super excited to paint these gals. I tell you what though, gardening and SCA, y'all hear them out there? I think another one has joined, which is another reason I shut the door. Let the kids have their fun while us old fogies are in the room playing with our dolls. No, his school hours are almost opposite mine and my husband's working hours. It's interesting, um, which college. I mean, I'm in school too, but I do my classes on the weekends because work. Basically, and all my classes are online, so it's basically self-paced. Turn your assignments in at the right time every week. But with his school, like this, like I think most of his classes are like after 5 p.m. Like one of them starts at like 5:30 or 5:45. Um, to me, that sounds horrifying for my day to begin. But they're in a different stage in life. Did I have classes that late when I was in? I think I had one class that was like 6:30 p.m. at our downtown campus when I went to Tennessee State when I was younger. And I want to say it was a music appreciation class. It was an elective. Um, there's an offshoot of the TSU campus that is in downtown Nashville. I wonder if that building's still there. I don't know. It probably is. I don't see a college giving up prime downtown real estate. But yeah, that's like the only evening class I had. And I think it's because I waited too late for registration. Whoops, I just knocked it out of my hand. Because that was back when you did your registration by like standing in the gym. You kids have no idea. We walked so y'all could run. When I registered for college the first time, the way you registered for your classes was you went to the gymnasium on a specific day. Um, and you had to go from table to table signing up for classes. It was a nightmare. And it took all day. It was a whole thing. I also had the option of turning in papers, either hand typed or written by hand. Yeah, that was an option. I usually did handwritten papers, mostly because my handwriting was terrible, but my teachers knew I was smart, so I'd get an A anyway, whether they could read it or not. I know it's called gaming the system. Oh, she came out pretty. I like her. Yeah, her. Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, like just the stone painting look on them makes them look great. I think you can really see the relief really well. I gotta fix this one's whip. She whipped a nene. See, that's one that's a little bit darker, and she's got the white on her. Yeah, it's the little things. But I always try to have a couple of things going at once. I don't have downtime when I'm hobbying because my hobby time is not as much as I'd like it to be. But balance. You gotta find balance. It's not about, you gotta make sure your hobbies don't take over your life because, you gotta pay bills, gotta work, gotta school. Do I smell food cooking? They're in their 20s. They can cook. I have come home to the stove being on though. Thank God it's an induction stove. Young people, we love you. But I'm just like, what are they cooking? I could go out there, but there's three of them at least. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, like you can't let your hobbies take over your life. Because it's so funny. Because sometimes the sun will be in the middle of the day, like 10 a.m. So I'm in my office working. My husband's at work because he works. He has to go to the office. He'll come in. What are you doing? I'm like, working. Oh, cringe. Like, darling, this is the life you're heading for. This is what most of us do at 10 a.m. We're at work. We're in meetings. We're doing the job. I don't sleep till noon. Um, but you also have to find that balance of, you know, finding time for the stuff that brings you joy, because life is a lot for everybody. We had a lot of life last week, and right now doing this is bringing me all kinds of joy, seeing new projects come together. And that's part of the joy of college, the waking up late, the last minute, because it's the last time you really get to be that way before full on adulthood. Because once you make it to full on adulthood, you know, when you're late, the lights get shut off. You can't really enjoy that. There's pressure in college, but it's a different kind of pressure. You know, so a little envious sometimes of the college kids. They get to flit about. It's 10 a.m. You're working. Cringe. Pardon me for being out here paying for your life. They're funny. We were there once too. I've been a college kid. I am a college adult. I'm not a college kid. Not a college kid at all. But work like this is repetitive. It can feel a little brainless because right now nothing exciting's happening except seeing the shadows build up, which, the first time I did a slap chop, I really didn't understand what I was doing, like at all. And it just looked muddy. Like, but now, even though there's no color on nothing but black and white, some grays on here, it looks like a little stone statue. You can see the edges, you can see the highlights. Yeah. So even just that technique getting better. It's all the little things. When I was building my novitiates and going through all the options, I picked the most excessive ones for each. I have 2 boxes of novitiates. Maybe the next box won't be so extra. I don't know if y'all can hear them or not. What I hear is hilarious. They're funny. They're all good kids too. None of them are wayward. They're all just trying to get each other through college, which they're a nice little crew. We do not mind having the young people over at all. It's kind of a flex when you have the house that all the kids want to come to, honestly. I've been text. It was spam. So it's not as bright as the titanium white would be. I'm trying to decide if I want to go brighter with the titanium white and do one more layer. I don't know. Because it's all about how bright do you want the paint to be. But it looks good. Look at that. Doesn't he look cool? Look at the shadows. Like, oh, it's the little thing. I'm telling you, it's this little stuff. These are destined to be salamanders. That's going to be my companion army. Um, I have the other half of my original Heresy box. That's what I'm working on now. And then I'll have the other half of the Saturnine box. That will be also Sally's. Of course, the Champions of Slaanesh will stay Champions of Slaanesh because that's all they can be used for. When I built my last command squad, I put one of the shield hands on backwards so that his shield's on this side, which it can't be on that side because that's his left hand. Oh my god, the stuff I've done. Like, oh my god, the mistakes I've made. You have to laugh about it. And when people are making mistakes or something's not as good as it could be, please be nice. Give people grace. Like, this is not the easiest hobby. Some people are amazing painters and builders and crafters, and they just got it. You know what I mean? And the rest of us have to try. It's kind of like in Taekwondo. One of the faults in those kinds of sports, these young people, one of the faults in those kinds of sports, I'm not sure it just is in the martial arts world, but when somebody shows up and they're like naturally like able to do things, they get a lot of favoritism and attention, and it's not healthy, because sometimes the excitement over somebody being naturally good outshines helping somebody do better, overshadows, not outshines, overshadows. And ooh, the relief on that looks really good. And then, absolute favoritism starts happening. So the instructor, is favoring a student. They get extra attention, or they get to do all the demonstrations, and just ridiculousness like that. They get the compliments, and other people only get criticism. Um, you know, One of the things, especially when I was teaching, I don't teach martial arts at the moment. I have nowhere to teach. Um, that, and my knee hates me. I will teach again eventually, but not right now. Doesn't really just fit in my life plan right now. And after 30 years, I've earned a break. And I'm doing SCA fighting anyway, so I'm learning new things. But when I taught, I always tried to make sure to give as much encouragement to everybody in my classes as I could, to help people realize their best. And, that everyone is not going to have the same amount of quote unquote natural talent. And the truth of the matter was, people who are naturally gifted at something, unless like there's just some burning passion that develops, they get bored and they quit things, you know. And that's for anything. When something comes too easy, it's actually harder to stick with it because you don't feel like you've accomplished anything. Not always, but a lot of times that's the way it is. And it's when you've had that struggle and you really had to earn it that makes us stick with stuff. And I've noticed that in the martial arts world, a lot of people will, they show up and they're, Billy Badass, and then they're gone in a couple of years because, well, they did everything really fast. And then, all that time that they were there, they got all the attention, and then you look around and your other students are there and they weren't getting attention, and yet somehow they're still loyal. So like when it comes to these hobbies, if you see people's models and they're not perfect or they weren't built perfectly, give grace. Don't lean into criticizing immediately. Remember that everyone's on a journey, and what may have been obvious to you may not be obvious to somebody else. Using my Artist Opus palette to clean this brush, well, you don't just dump these in water, the dry brushes. Like this isn't even a fancy dry brush. This is a cheap dry brush. But any tool can last longer if you treat it correctly. Yeah, and this just gets the paint out, and it's dry. I didn't have to put it in water, so if I need to use it again, I can. So those are done, which means the other figures should be ready for me to attach limbs to now. Oh, the projects. All right. Yep, torsos are nicely attached. So then I'll have to go in and get pauldrons for these guys, shoulder pieces. Y'all, when I tell you. See if I can get these two here nicely. The good thing is at least the plastic came off cleanly. I mean, the paint came off pretty cleanly, so reattaching these guys is not so difficult. Not so difficult at all. And they can see where they're supposed to attach because there's like a little nib there. I think they're eating my bag of Three Musketeers, which I left it out, so it's not my bag of Three Musketeers anymore. All right, he has double claws. Next. This is going to go on his left side, I believe. Yep. I do appreciate having those little clues built in here. So like there's like this little bump right here, and there's an indentation on the inside of the arm, and that kind of tells you how to line it up. So yes, I'm out here giving G-Dubs credit. Hey, credit to where it's due, okay? Oops, it just broke his torso. I squeezed too hard. I'm going to have to reglue that. Or, oh no, this is one where I didn't reglue it. I thought he was just well attached still. He is not. I should just assume everything's got to be reglued. Well, this is fun. Doing a double dry. Okay, I'm going to have to let this one sit for a second before I touch it again. I'm going to set you here. There we go. All right. Arms. This is hobbying. Maybe I should have called my channel Real Time Hobby. Because that's what I'm doing, is hobbies in real time. No shortcuts here. I do understand why people... Now I know y'all can hear that. I do understand why people pay to have armies built. It's work. You have to really enjoy it to want to do this on your own. There we go. I know y'all heard that. Mirth and laughter. Laughter and mirth. They're going to get me demonetized. But just have patience with yourself. Rome wasn't built in a day. We say that, but none of us were there. What if it was built in a day? What if Rome was built in like 12 hours? I'm joking. Could have been. I'm joking. Okay, let that dry. Okay, so I gotta put the claws back on these hands before I glue them on. This is why pencils have erasers, y'all. This is why pencils have erasers. And claws. Okay. Now I need to see how many shoulder pieces I need to cut out while these dry. Let that dry. Okay. So I have one set here. Shoulder pieces. There's more here, thank God. Oh, they're calling another friend. So that one's together. So one guy, he needs another arm. I just realized that. Yeah, this one needs another arm. So let's cut him out an arm. There's not a claw arm. Okay, good. Because that guy has a flamer. Okay. Have to put his other arm on. So 1, 2. That's all the shoulder pieces I have. I might have to borrow shoulder pieces from another model kit. Some cataphracti shoulders might have to go on here. That's one set. He's got one. The shoulders are what washed down. Two. Yeah, I got a short one set of shoulders. 3, 4. I'm short one shoulder piece. 5. I'll have to kit bash, which is fine. Oh, did I cut off the wrong? I cut off the wrong side hand. Try it again. I needed this one. Yeah. Okay, this is the one I needed. Yes, I'm eavesdropping. There we go. There we go. All right. Now let's start putting shoulders on. Back on. Erg. I'm going to have to get one more shoulder piece. I'm going to be interested to hear on the playback how much of their conversation y'all can hear. All right, they're going back to schoolwork. All right, so it's one. Let him dry and he'll be ready to prime. He needs a little. I need to put the rocks back on his base. Where's my rocks? Here they are. Rocks went down the sink. Everything went down the sink. It's a good one. These are rocks from the driveway. Actually, the backyard, not the driveway. I washed them. Oh, man. There's nothing better than... And he's dropping again. Oh, now they're debating over how they solved an equation. It's actually very heartwarming to listen to them debate about schoolwork. It's like, oh, they're getting ready for adulthood. Okay, he's ready. 2 out of 10. Next one. See if I can put this guy's arms on now. They're yelling about -4s. Look, I don't math. I say that. I math enough to like do my bills and, you know, expense reports and return on investment. I can do it. He just... This is just how they talk to each other. There's too much going on out there. Boys. Daughter doesn't live in our city. She's in college elsewhere. So I don't know how her and her friends are when they get together to study. But she's on her way to her PhD. Okay, come on. It's like when they get something wrong or right, they're going to crap talk each other. Either way. Hey, it's their love language. I'm not judging. Okay. He just needs his shoulder pieces, so we're going to set him here. Okay, this guy's ready for shoulder pieces. I have a nice black ink I'm going to prime all these with. I think I put that on backwards. I did. I need to start using top-down camera view more often. It's just a little bit more of a hassle. Not that I can't do it, it's a hassle. That arm just fell off, dagnabbit. I didn't put enough glue on. Okay, 3 of them are ready to prime. They're not getting primed right now. I'm gonna let the glue completely dry. Oh wait, I didn't do his rebasing. I need to do that. I'm gonna stick with my original vision this time when I paint them. The black with the electric color on them. They are actually studying. They just have to talk foul to each other while they do it for some reason. Hey, you know what? It's their culture. It's their whatever. It's how the young people are. It's fine. I don't have to understand. I'm not a young people. Actually, one should be fine. One is fine. They don't all need 2 rocks. All right, he's ready. That's 3. All right. Shoulder pieces. One on this guy. I just need to find one more, which I can do that out of any of my boxes. There's one. There's one. Grr. Ah! Picking up little bitty things covered in glue. 4 guys ready to prime. And yet when you make mistakes, you just gotta take it on the chin. It happened. I had my retainer back in last week. I think I told y'all in my last video. I came into adulthood with 6 baby teeth, and I'm in the process of getting my last implants done. So they had to take out the last 2 baby teeth and put in the post for the permanent. And it takes like 3 to 4 months to heal. So now I finally put my retainer back in for my braces. It feels weird. I wear it for a week on the bottom. But you can't with a retainer, and you can't really tell if there's gaps there. So that's kind of nice. This guy? I need one more shoulder piece. I might steal it from his cataphracti box. Shoulder. Just need one shoulder piece, and these 5 are ready. Where's his cataphracti? Actually, there's a whole bunch of Space Marine kit bashing. I want to see my husband's desk for a minute. Actually, let's see if I've got something over here I can use. Oh, that is so many sprues. You sprues, you lose. I'm probably going to have to use the cataphracti box because these are not big enough. Are these from my... These are from the Slaanesh champions, I think, after building them. No, they are chaos. Can I make one of these fit? Maybe. Ooh, we can't put Emperor's Children on his side, though. That wouldn't work. No, not these. They look too different. Let's see. This is why you don't throw your sprues away. These... Oh, these are leftovers from building dreadnoughts, so not going to work. Okay. Alright, I'm going to pop open the cataphracti box. This cataphracti box. Where is it? I don't see it. This cataphracti box is here the other day. Oh, there it is. Cataphracti Terminators Squad. Here's one more set of sprues. Let me look at these. One more set of sprues. See if I can find something that works here. I also think these are champions of Slaanesh. I can look at them and tell. Oh no, these are his cacophony. I took the resin cacophony and he has the plastic cacophony. No, he needs the cacophony. I'm not going to take any cacophony pieces. Oh, I just need one shoulder piece. What's that? That's it. Look back at these spurs one more time, make sure there's nothing there I can use. Because all those guys have their shoulders, I can't use any of them. My other set. I don't know why doing differential equations involves yelling, but it does. Nope, there's not one more. I just need one shoulder piece. Okay, I'm going to steal it from the cataphracti box. 1 second. Husband's cataphracti box. He offered to give me all of them to replace my Tartaros, but I was like, no, I don't need another set of cataphracti. But I do need one of your shoulder pieces. Nope. Nope. Oh, those are way out proportioned. But the under piece will probably fit. There's 2 pieces to the cataphracti shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. The smaller half. But let me make sure they don't give exactly 10. Because there's only 10, I can't take one. I'm not greedy. Let's see, 1 set, 2 sets, and then 3, 4, 5. Where's the rest of them? There's 10 miniatures in here. So there should be 20 of the little ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, their pauldrons are double. Those are faces. Is there a screw missing? Oh. 15. No, it looks like these are the exact right amounts. I can't take any of these. Well, I guess I'll have to print one. Or give him a champion of Slanesh shoulder. I mean, they are Emperor's children. So, wouldn't be the worst thing. Somebody in some competition is going to be like, that's the wrong piece. Let's see. I think it's bruised again. Let's make a Slanesh piece work. There's so many of them, and there's some that are nondescript, so I think it'll be fine. Sometimes you gotta use what you got. And it's my own fault. It is my own fault for not realizing what I had done, so, oh well. It sucks too, because it cost me like $60 for that box of models. No. Sad face. Sad face. It will fit. I'll just tell everybody he's the captain. So he got a fancy shoulder, because he's the captain. Oh, they are working. I can hear them. All right. Getting that education on. Love to hear it. 5. Let them dry thoroughly, and then they will get primed. And once I get those together, they'll get primed, and this will be the stuff that I work on in paint until it's done before I start a new project. So, that took longer than I thought it was going to. Now, somebody commented once on my snips in the short. These are the snips I use. These are, what are these called? My husband got me these because he was using them, and my son had a pair for doing his Gundams, and then I tried them, and I love them. Rui tool, and they are really great. This is a great Rui tool. They're a great pair of snips. Not sponsored, just it's what I use. Okay, so when they're done, these will get primed. I might try priming with my new brush. I did actually manage to fix my broken Badger brush. I worked on it last night and just spent some extra time just going through very thoroughly, and I've got it spraying nicely again. But I think this one will only be for spraying ink now after breaking it. So, yeah, hey, mistakes happen. You gotta give yourself grace, give everybody else grace. And, at the end of the day, it's just a game. Okay? It's not that serious at all. All right, well, I should probably make dinner for my family and put up laundry. But I have fun hobbying. Thank you for coming along on this little bit of hobbying with me. Kitten box. This is going to stay here until I'm done finishing the others. Can y'all hear them? In my head, y'all hear everything going on out there. I'm sitting like really low to the ground, so like I look very squat right now because I have to, for the camera, for it to be able to see what I'm doing, you have to come all the way down, and God didn't see fit to give me a torso anyway, so I look weird. It's fine. Well, friends, as we always say at the end of these videos, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you and them in the next one.